It's getting late out, but something happened about an hour ago that I just had to comment on. Do you know these fools raided Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago? Do you understand how unprecedented something like this is? We had a president who was under investigation his entire term, and a year before it, and now a year and a half after it. They didn't find anything in those 5-6 years that they were searching. Now they're raiding his home. There used to be a thing called the October surprise, where right before an election they would do something that would taint an election for one of the candidates or sway it for the other candidate. But what they're doing right now is they know what's going to happen in November, because they're seeing the primaries, they're seeing the turnouts. They know nothing came out of that ridiculous fake insurrection hearing. So they're ramping it up. They're doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down. And they are now, after failing nonstop, this is what they think is going to work. They're not going to find anything. But they're going to say, he's so corrupt. This is just another investigation. Did you know his home was even raided? This is all a stunt. Here's the problem with this. This is not politics. They're using the Department of Justice. They're using the FBI. They're using they're using the government, the IRS. They're adding 87,000 IRS employees. They're growing the government so that they can control everything. I think they're trying to provoke something into happening, which hopefully does not happen. I don't see any other reason why what they're doing, where the thought process is. They know they're about to lose the Senate and Senate and the House. They're going to lose Congress. It's going to happen. They know it's going to happen, and they're only a few months away. So they're so desperate. They're raiding the former president of the United States home. Let me ask you something. What's her name? Oh, I can't think of her name. The chick who was Epstein's girlfriend. She was convicted. She was sentenced. I don't know if she was sentenced yet. She was convicted for the women trafficking and everything else that they did. This guy was a known pedophile. Ended up going to jail, killed himself, supposedly killed himself. Not one person on the list that they have. They have the list of people in his little black book. Not one person had their home raided. Known pedophiles who went to that man's island to do disgusting things, to do unheard of things, to do things that we all know happened because he started admitting it. He got caught. Nobody on his lists had their home raided. Isn't that weird? Hunter Biden has done nothing but commit felonies in the last 20 years of his life. His home has never been raided. This man has done nothing but have whores, illegal drugs, illegal weapons, illegal transactions overseas, illegal bribes. He's never had anything raided. He's an outright criminal who does nothing but commit crimes. Never been raided. Isn't that weird? I think that's weird. You know who Eric Swalwell is? He's a guy in Congress. He's on the Intelligence Committee. He was sleeping with a spy, a known Chinese spy, 100% compromised. She went off back home. He stayed on the intelligence committees. He's never been raided. Never had his home raided. Isn't that weird?
Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel has details tonight on this. Good evening, Mike.
Brett, good evening. A major critic of President Trump during impeachment is now under intense scrutiny after revelations he had close ties with an alleged Chinese spy before being elected and even after to Congress.
I was shocked when, just over 6 years ago, I was told about this individual.
Yet Fox News has learned today Congressman Eric Swalwell's father and brother are still Facebook friends with an alleged Chinese spy. Axios was first to report Swalwell was part of a group of Northern California Democrats targeted by a Chinese national named Fang Fang, or Christine Fang. She's suspected of being an operative for China's Ministry of State Security. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany says it was never Russia and the Republicans, it was the Democrats and China. Swalwell suggests this leaking out is payback.
If this is a country where people who criticize the president are going to have law enforcement information weaponized against them, that's not a country that any of us want to live in.
Swalwell insists he cooperated fully and did nothing wrong.
I'm grateful that our FBI back in 2015 reached out to me. They showed great professionalism in seeking to alert me.
After this revelation, leading House Republicans say Swalwell should have never been put on the Intelligence Committee.
It looks like Representative Swalwell was identified, cultivated, and potentially funded by a Chinese communist spy. And that this happened before he came to Congress. Once he got to Congress, there are real questions about whether or not Speaker Pelosi knew this when she put him on the House Intel Committee.
Swalwell says House leadership was aware of this issue and still assigned him to intelligence. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's spokesman responded, the Speaker has full confidence in Congressman Swalwell's service in the Congress and on the Intelligence Committee.
This should be even Democrats should be like, oh, whoa, they're going too far. There's nothing in Donald Trump's life that they don't already know. They've been investigating him all these years now. Over half a decade, they've been investigating this man with every apparatus that they have. And now they're raiding his home right before an election? This is how bad they don't want him to run, and this is how bad you should want him to run. They are so desperate, they are lashing out in this way. Nothing like this has ever happened. It is so outrageous, and it should be terrifying to think that the government can just do whatever they want to anyone, including a president of the United States. While we have a president right now whose son is an outright criminal, openly does drugs, and purchases women. There's a football player, Deshaun Watson, who propositioned women, but he didn't offer to pay them. He was getting massages and he was advancing on these women. This man lost millions of dollars over that. He's about to lose millions more. He just got suspended by the NFL. Millions of dollars he's losing for trying to essentially have sex with women. And not even all the way. He's trying to get them to finish their massage. However you want to say that, however you want to frame that. Whether you think it's disgusting, whether you think it's okay, doesn't matter. He's losing millions of dollars. Hunter Biden outright purchases women and does drugs with them on camera. And he makes millions. See, when we talk about all that privilege stuff, It's only the left who's privileged. It's only leftists who are privileged. Because if Don Trump Jr. did any of the stuff that Hunter, not all the stuff, any of the stuff that Hunter Biden does, he'd be in prison right now. But because of who he is and his last name, all is good. I'm telling you, they're trying to provoke something to happen. We can't let that happen. We can't let whatever they're trying to do happen. This is what they do. Every time there's a quote-unquote riot or there's a protest and it's on the right, it's provoked from within by the FBI.
Do you think they have a weak case and they should proceed with these two guys?
I think what the FBI did is unconscionable, is what I think. And I think the jury just sent them a message loud and clear that these tactics are not going to be, you know, we're not going to condone what they've done here. And the jury didn't get all of it either. The judge kept quite a bit out in pretrial rulings. But they did get enough of it, I think.
How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sir, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Well, there are a lot of people who are understandably very concerned about Mr. Epps. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that had gathered, and there's video out there of him chanting, "Tomorrow, we need to get into the Capitol, into the Capitol." This was strange behavior, so strange that the crowd began chanting, "Fed, Fed, 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 Fed." Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
The next day, on January 6th, Mr. Epps is seen whispering to a person, and 5 seconds later, 5 seconds after he's whispering to a person, that same person begins to forcibly tear down the barricades. Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades?
Sir, similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that.
Shortly thereafter, the FBI put out a public post seeking information on individuals connected with violent crimes on January 6th. Among those individuals, in the bottom there, is Mr. Epps. The FBI publicly asked for information, identifying, offering cash rewards for information leading to the arrest. This was posted, and then, sometime later, magically, Mr. Epps disappeared from the public posting. According to public records, Mr. Epps has not been charged with anything. No one's explained why a person videoed urging people to go to the Capitol, a person whose conduct was so suspect the crowd believed he was a Fed, would magically disappear from the list of people the FBI was looking at. Ms. Sandburn, a lot of Americans are concerned that the federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th. My question to you, and this is not an ordinary law enforcement question, this is a question of public accountability. Did federal agents or those in service of federal agent actively encourage violent and criminal conduct on January 6th?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Don't let this stuff work. This is beyond outrageous. And I don't understand how they don't understand how this is only going to empower Donald Trump. Because they know they're not going to find anything. You know how I know they're not going to find anything? Because they haven't. And they've been searching for years. You can find, it shouldn't take more than a year to find everything you need on a criminal. But when you're in year 6, you're wrong. You're wrong. About whatever you think, you're wrong. You're in year number 6. You're wrong. The person is not doing what you say they were doing. But I'll tell you this much, 2024 is pretty much guaranteed now. Because this is what the right despises the most. When government is out of control, government is too big, government is corrupt. This is what you find. This is what happens. This is where we're at. This is a perfect example of what happens when government gets too big. The left loves government, wants to grow it, wants to add 87,000 IRS agents. Who do you think they're going to go after? What do you think is going to come of something like that? When you grow government, they overstep. It's what they do. Raiding a former president's home. And not just any former president, the guy who just got out of office. They never found what they were looking for, so they tried to manufacture it on prime time on TV in this stupid hearing. Didn't offer anything, didn't offer anything from the other side, nothing. And it didn't work. All of his primary candidates got in. So what do? Well, I guess we're gonna have to ramp it up. Instead of saying, hey, maybe we were wrong, let's move on, they're ramping it up. What I don't understand is how they don't understand. They are strengthening his base. He already got record numbers on all minorities. What cost him the last election was white men and corruption. But if you don't think this is strengthening him and people don't see through this, you're crazy. This is crazy. Because there's no basis for it. They can say Merrick Garland must have a reason. No. Well, did they have a reason when they were doing all the investigations? Russia? Turned out they had no reason for any of it because it was all a lie from the beginning. And who was in charge of that? The FBI. When the right gets in, they need to clean house. All bureaucrats must go, hire all new people, do the world's largest job fair. Because this is the swamp. This is exactly what they talked about when Trump got in office and wanted to drain the swamp. This is it. A federal agency that is so out of control, they're stepping into a former president's home. People, if they will do it to him, what do you think they will do to you when all you have to do is dissent and they have the power to go into a former president's home? Think about it. What are you going to say? Oh, where's your warrants? They can manufacture them. Clearly they can manufacture them. They manufactured a warrant against a president of the United States. You think they can't manufacture one for you? It's going to get to the point where it won't matter. Who's going to stop them? Nobody's doing anything. There needs to be a congressional hearing. Every FBI agent involved in this needs to be put under oath in front of Congress, in front of the world. Because this is it's unbelievable. If this isn't intimidation and harassment and with the sole purpose of threatening the American people, anybody can get got. That's what this is. This is a message. Anybody can get it. I can't look at this any other way. I can't look at this any other way. The former president of the United States just had his home raided by the FBI. And their basis is the January 6th hearings where nothing new came out. It's pretty incredible. Like, nothing came out of that. I knew everything that, literally everything that was discussed in those hearings, I already knew. It was already public information. Nothing new came of it. So what caused somebody's home to be raided if nothing new was there? Other than the failure of those election hearings or January 6th hearings. Didn't work. Nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. Nobody believed it. And the people who did watch it, they're the very few who still think that the government is doing what it's supposed to do until it turns on them. And once it turns on them, they'll realize, oh, wait a minute, it's too late. Government is out of control. Out of control.